Hi, year three, welcome back. Today we are going to be reading chapter 22 of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and this chapter is called Along the Corridor. So in the previous chapter, remember, they've just rolled Violet out of the inventing room down to the juicing room to try and solve the problem. Well, 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 sighed Mr. Willy Wonka. 2 naughty little children gone. 3 good little children left. I think we'd better get out of this room quickly before we lose anyone else. But, Mr. Wonka, said Charlie Bucket anxiously, will Violet Beauregarde ever be all right again? Or will she always be a blueberry? They'll dejuice her in no time flat, declared Mr. Wonka. They'll roll her into the dejuicing machine, and she'll come out just as thin as a whistle. But will she be blue all over? Asked Charlie. She'll be purple, cried Mr. Wonka. A fine rich purple from head to toe. But there you are. That's what comes from chewing disgusting gum all day long. If you think gum's so disgusting, said Mike TV, then why'd you make it in your factory? I do wish you wouldn't mumble, said Mr. Wonka. I can't hear a word you're saying. Come on, off we go. Hurry up, follow me. We're going into the corridor again. And so saying, Mr. Wonka scuttled across to the far end of the inventing room and went out through a small secret door hidden behind a lot of pipes and stoves. The 3 remaining children, Veruca Salt, Mike TV, and Charlie Bucket, together with the 5 remaining grown-ups, followed after him. Charlie Bucket saw that they were now back in one of those long pink corridors, with many other pink corridors leading out of it. Mr. Wonka was rushing right along in front, turning left and right and left, and Grandpa Joe was saying, "Keep a good hold of my hand, Charlie. It'd be terrible to get lost in here." Mr. Wonka was saying, "No time for any more messing about. We'll never get anywhere at the rate we've been going." And on he rushed down the endless pink corridors, with his black top hat perched on top of his head, and his plum-coloured velvet coat-tails flying out behind him like a flag in the wind. They passed a door in the wall. "No time to go in," shouted Mr. Wonka. "Press on, press on." They passed another door, then another and another. There were doors every 20 paces or so along the corridor now, and they all had something written on them, and strange clanking noises were coming from behind several of them, and delicious smells came wafting through keyholes, and sometimes little jets of coloured steam shot out from the cracks underneath. Grandpa Joe and Charlie were half running and half walking to keep up with Mr. Wonka, but they were able to read what it said on quite a few of the doors as they hurried by. "Eatable marshmallow pillows," it said on one. "Marshmallow pillows are terrific," shouted Mr. Wonka as he dashed by. "They'll be all the rage when I get them into the shops. No time to go in, though. No time to go in." "Lickable wallpapers for nurseries," it said on the next door. "Lovely stuff, lickable wallpaper," cried Mr. Wonka, rushing past. "It has pictures of fruit on it. Bananas, apples, oranges, grapes, pineapples, strawberries, and snozzberries." "Snozzberries?" said Mike TV. "Don't interrupt," said Mr. Wonka. "The wallpaper has pictures of all these fruits printed on, and when you lick the picture of banana, it tastes like a banana. When you lick a strawberry, it tastes of a strawberry. And when you lick a snozzberry, it tastes just exactly like a snozzberry." "What does a snozzberry taste like?" "You're mumbling again," said Mr. Wonka. "Speak louder next time. On we go. Hurry up." "Hot ice creams for cold days," it said on the door. "Extremely useful in the winter," said Mr. Wonka, rushing on. "Hot ice cream warms you up no end in freezing weather. They also make hot ice cubes for putting in hot drinks. Hot ice cubes make hot drinks even hotter." "Cows that give chocolate milk," it said on the next door. "Ah, my pretty little cows," cried Wonka. "How I love those cows." "Why can't we see them?" asked Veruca Salt. "Why do we have to go rushing on past all these lovely rooms?" "We shall stop in time," called Mr. Wonka. "Don't be so madly impatient." "Fizzy lifting drinks," it said on the next door. "Oh, those are fabulous," cried Mr. Wonka. "They fill you with bubbles, and the bubbles are full of a special kind of gas, and this gas is so terrifically lifting that it lifts you right off the ground just like a balloon, and up you go until your head hits the ceiling, and there you stay." "But how do you come down again?" asked little Charlie. "You do a burp, of course," said Mr. Wonka. "You do a great big long rude burp, and up comes the gas, and down comes you. But don't drink it outdoors. There's no knowing how high you'll be carried if you do that." I gave some to an old Oompa Loompa once out in the backyard, and he went up and disappeared out of sight. He was very sad. I never saw him again." "He should have burped," said Charlie. "Of course he should have burped," said Mr. Wonka. "I stood there shouting, 'Burp! Burp, or you'll never come down again.' But he didn't. Or he couldn't or wouldn't, I don't know which. Maybe he was too polite. He must be on the moon by now." On the next door it said, "Square sweets that look round." "Wait!" cried Mr. Wonka, skidding suddenly to a halt. "I am very proud of my square sweets that look round. Let's take a peek." Okay, that's the end of chapter 22. For this chapter, what I'd like you to do is come up with your own invention. Okay, so just like Mr. Wonka had the square sweets that look round, and he had fizzy lifting drinks and lickable wallpaper and all those types of things, I want you to come up with your own invention, and I want you to write a set of instructions on how to make it. Okay, so remembering your title, remembering an introduction, remembering a you will need section, okay, or your ingredients at the top, and your method. And then finally, you might want a little warning or a top tip. Okay, remembering in your instructions, you need numbered steps. Okay, using imperative verbs, maybe using some adverbs. Okay, and adding detail to each of your steps. Okay, so that's your activity for this chapter. Have fun. Bye.